We just got off Icon of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship, and we have a lot to say. We're going to break it down category by category so you know what to expect and what we liked and what we didn't like.
Hi, I'm Crystal.
I'm Marshall.
Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. You won't want to miss our cruising videos. We make videos about ships, trips, and tips. And this is a ship video for sure. So for Icon of the Seas, what was your first impression?
Wow. I mean, wow. Of course, you drive up or walk up. It's gigantic ship. But when you walk on, you go into the Royal Promenade, and it's the only Royal Promenade that has a lot of light from the outside coming in, and they take you in right to see the Pearl, the largest art installation I've seen on a ship that's interactive. It's just wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's better than having like a car in there, like on a lot of the Oasis and Freedom class ships, they have like a vehicle in the Royal Promenade. So this is definitely many notches up.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things we noticed right away, besides the Pearl, is all the windows from floor to ceiling. Like you said, all the lights, all the light coming in from the outside. And I think they really tried to maximize that with all of the designs.
Agreed. And it's also modern, not like modern art, just clean, fresh lines. Very well done from the moment you get on that ship.
Mm-hmm. And before we even got on the ship, the entire embarkation process was very organized, very quick, very easy. So I was pretty impressed with that.
How about we start with the stateroom? Thoughts on that?
I thought it was good. I loved the new showers. Instead of the little, like, beam me up Scotty round showers, it was rectangular. It just you didn't feel as claustrophobic in there.
They had a full bench seat if you needed it, so it definitely was larger.
Other than that, I think, the balcony was about the same. You did like the little ottomans under the patio chairs.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about something else. I liked the command center, where you had digital, air conditioning or heat, plus you had mood lighting that you could hit with settings. So it was definitely, it raised the bar for the stateroom.
Would also say all the USB and USB-C plugs in the room. That was nice to have that. So if you haven't seen our full room tour, we'll link that below so you can check it out. Next category is dining. So we're talking the food and all of the various places where you can get food. For me, I think that was one of the biggest wows because we're used to having a main dining room, maybe a park cafe, also the Sorrento's pizza place and the Royal Promenade. But Icon of the Seas stepped it up again with several notches. There were so many places to eat and even a different variety of foods.
Yes, now you're talking 12 free venues. I mean, some are buffets, full buffets, some are small bites, but 12 is a significant amount of options for free. Plus there are 15 specialty venues, and they go from like a place to get shakes or smoothies to even, I think it is the most expensive place I've seen on a ship, but the Empire Supper Club. And they recreate the 1930s New York City jazz vibe for you. We didn't partake in it, but I like the ability to have those options.
Mm-hmm. Next up would be bars and lounges. Our favorite.
Yes, it's the music hall. It's got 2 floors. You can choose to be right down with the music and the dancing or removed a little bit. It's really well laid out.
Mm-hmm. And our favorite bartender was Bosco.
He's awesome.
Bosco was in the music hall, so we just started calling it Bosco's place.
It was his place. I also want to add as a review that 2 new places that Icon has that you should check out is the Dual and Pianos bar, where you have two pianos, two pianists going back at it between the two of them. And also, if you're looking for an interesting, different lounge, try the 1440 lobby bar. You've got 3 banks of windows to look out of while you're sipping a drink, reading a book. There are plenty of places on this ship that is worthy to check out. Now we'll move on to the category of entertainment. So I'm going to set this one up for you. What did you think of their Wizard of Oz show?
The Wizard of Oz, I love watching like a full production,
Right.
So I thought it was a little slow to get started, and I was maybe a little creeped out by Toto, the dog.
So they wouldn't allow video, so we don't have the video, but the dog was animated by a person right there with it.
Like crawling around behind it.
So not to spend too much time on it, but the face that the dog was supposed to make, the person was also making. So it was just, you had to suspend your belief a little bit.
Yeah. But other than those two things, I think it was very well done. I loved the characters. I loved the scenery was so good. Like the, what is it called?
Backdrop?
Yeah.
Okay.
The set, I guess.
The set, yes.
Yeah, very well done. And the witch was amazing. She was fantastic.
Absolutely. The other theater show was the Effector's origin story. And I'll take this on. It was okay, but I kind of like the music reviews, the Broadway, or this, again, it was a hit with the families. I would just say it was good. And usually I think these shows are amazing.
Yeah. You know what was amazing was I thought the other two shows in the other venues, the ice show was fantastic. And then also the aqua show in the AquaDome was amazing.
I would give it 4.5 out of 5. The one little thing which I notice as these shows get amped up and the costumes get larger and bigger, a lot of times their faces are covered with costumes, and I kind of love seeing the people and their emotions. And the costumes are amazing, but there's just a slight disconnect from some of the earlier shows.
Yeah, like the other ships we've been on, like we actually interacted with some of the singers and dancers while we were walking around on the ship. We'd see them and be like, oh, hey, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have a conversation, you maybe take a selfie, you wish them well, whatever. But this, you didn't really recognize any of the team because you didn't know what they looked like in real life.
Yeah, the costumes were amazing, but it did set you slightly apart from them personally.
Yeah, that's true. So one of the things we really loved about Icon of the Seas was how it was split up into different neighborhoods. Not only is there Central Park and then obviously the Royal Promenade, but then there were additional neighborhoods like Surfside, which was, I love Surfside, the design of it, and I just think it's so colorful. And if I was a kid, I would want to spend all my time there. For the Pinnacles and Suites, there was a separate neighborhood called the Grove, and then there was one called Chill Island or something like that.
Yes, and then Thrill Island and Central Park is always a thumbs up for us.
Yes. But what they did in each of the neighborhoods was they put activities there, they put free venues to eat, and then they also put at least one specialty restaurant in that area as well.
And in many of those neighborhoods, and this is a complete different tact, they moved pools and hot tubs or jacuzzis into many of those neighborhoods. No, you're not going to find a pool and jacuzzi in a Central Park. But the fact that there were 4 different decks that contained pools or jacuzzis, maybe even more than that, really spread out the crowd that way and gave you different vibes. Including going back to your Surfside, they had a kids' family pool that was almost an infinity pool like they had for the adults up up above on the deck, on deck 15.
Oh yeah, the adult neighborhood that was adults only was called the Hideaway. So that was nice, and that did have a big infinity pool and 2 hot tubs. All told, I think there were 7 pools and 9 hot tubs on Icon. So always a place to be.
You can get your wet on. How about we now kind of go through a number of other categories with some quick thoughts and tips. Let's start with activities.
So they had a flow rider, they had water slides, multiple water slides, they had mini golf, they had rock climbing, they had a fitness center.
Really nice fitness center, and of course that jogging track, which is one of my favorites. Moving down a little bit to deck 4, how about the casino?
One of the best things about that casino is that they had a completely separate areas for smoking and non-smoking. So I really very much appreciated that.
All right. Yes, I'll take the category for staff and crew right now. And I got to tell you, it felt, maybe it wasn't the case, but it felt like the staff was handpicked. Felt like it was the best of the best across the cruise fleet. And it just made us feel very special.
You know, sometimes I was worried that when you get on a gigantic ship like that the staff might not be quite as personable or friendly, but that was the opposite. Really. They were fantastic.
Next category, I feel like we're playing Jeopardy. Next category, crowds, because we were afraid of that, and it took us a while to get on board because we didn't want to be the first, in the first group of trying this. So what'd you think of the crowds?
I think the way it was designed, they really thought about how people would spend their day or their evening, and like depending on what type of cruiser you are, whether you like a quiet space or more of a louder party atmosphere, or if you have children or you're a solo traveler, I feel like they really just organized it so that people were spread out.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Now, truth be told, they had 2 balloon drops, and they were very popular in the Royal Promenade, and it was like a sea of people. But that also meant there was even more room everywhere else on the ship. So if that wasn't your game, you had plenty of extra room in those other places. But, for very special events, you can get a lot of people. Moving on to tech and innovation.
Okay, well, the app worked well, the Wi-Fi worked well, and I think they must have had more hotspots around the ship because that seemed to work very well.
Yeah, and maybe you may have heard me mention the fact that I love those lights on the control panel for the cabin.
And the destination elevators, we appreciated too.
That's true.
We tried to take the stairs most of the time, but if we were going from like deck 15 down to 4, we're going to take the elevator, or up. Like going up, we'd be more likely to take the elevator. But you just press the button, it tells you what elevator to get on, and then you just step on and it goes there. So I appreciated that.
Icon class, Icon ship, best elevators in the fleet.
What about cost comparison?
Great question. There's still an extra cost to go on Icon. It has come down because they've launched Star of the Seas and Legend of the Seas. The 3rd Icon class will soon be available for sailing, but there is still an additional cost. With that said, I gotta say, I thought it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, we did get a deal because honestly, we were supposed to be on a different cruise, but due to scheduling conflicts, we ended up changing to Icon. And when I saw the price was comparable to the other cruise, I'm like, you want to go on Icon? So
I was like, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
So I was a little bit nervous because when you see the drone footage, you think, oh my God, there's going to be mobs of people and I'm not going to like this. I like the smaller ships. But overall, I would 1000% go on Icon of the Seas again. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been on 18 different Royal Caribbean ships. So my question is, does this make it into the top 3? I don't want to say a favorite, but
Yes, I think so. For me, it does.
yeah, right now I want to go back on Icon more than probably any other ship in the fleet, just to experience it again.
So if you're like us and like quiet things, quiet places, and like places to relax or whatnot, you might think, oh, I'm gonna stay away from Icon because it's just too big. I think you should give it a chance.
Absolutely.
It sold us.
Absolutely. And check out our video of wow places, because we focus in on some of those most quiet places. So it'll give you a leg up if you're heading on to Icon.
Well, we also have the full ship tour that's out now also. So let us know if you've any questions about Icon, or if you've been on Icon, what your thoughts are. And yeah, we thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this a like if you like the video, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.